showtime! The Capital G show starts right now.
What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So there's this new hand trap out of Judgment of the Light that I want to talk about called Flying G. If I'm not mistaken, it should be called Flying C when it makes its way to the TCG. It's from the same family as Max C and Black Shiny C, so obviously the monsters are all C in their name, you know. Anyways, so this monster has big time potential written all over it. I think that this card is not going to be a good or great option in the side deck. I think it is going to be an amazing option. I think that this is going to be one of the best side decked potential cards that we've seen in competitive play for a very long time, because, you know, if you use it against certain decks, and I'm not talking about low tier stuff, I'm talking about some of these top echelon decks, I mean, they're just not going to have any answer for it, or, you know, their plays to try and, you know, counteract this are just going to be really bad, like mediocre, and they're not going to serve themselves well. Let's talk about the card and go into the effects right quick. So it's an earth insect monster, as all the sea monsters are. Effect level 3, 700 attack, 700 defense, and the effect is when your opponent successfully normal summons or special summons a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field and face up defense position. While this card is face up on the field, the card's controller cannot exceed summon. So I'm not gonna lie, when I first read Flying G, I was kind of like, man, it's just you know, I hate giving my opponent a monster, and you know, how many decks can I really side this in against? But then I thought to myself, what if I stick to the script? What if I just use it for its sole intended purposes of stopping Xyz? You know, this card might be able to put in some work. I mean, yes, you wouldn't want to summon it against, you know, Mermills or Frog Monarchs, because, you know, Mermills could just use it for a synchro summon, Frog Monarchs could just use it for a tribute summon. But what if I use it against decks that don't tribute summon and don't synchro summon very often? Now we're getting somewhere. You know, if you side this in against Wind-Ups or the Verz or Macro Rabbit, I mean, okay, well, now I don't have to worry about you dropping Ophion on my head. Now I don't have to worry about seeing a Lagia or a Doka for a long time. You know, all those wind-up rats that you have in your deck, they're basically nothing now because you can't use them. So I was like, yeah, okay, so now we're actually getting somewhere. One of the reasons I really like this guy is because, unlike the other hand traps, this card is disruptive on two different levels. Let's say your opponent has the turn 1 broken play, like they have the Rescue Rabbit, and it's like, okay, that's cool. Go ahead, get your 2 little Sabersaurs. Now I'm going to summon my guy in defense mode, and your 2 dinos are going to do what now? Oh, right, they're just going to die in the end phase because you can't exceed with them. The difference is, not only has he already paid for himself because you just wasted your money, he's sitting on the field being all salty, cock blocking you from dropping any more Xyz, and now you basically have to find a way to get him off the board, because I don't have to. As long as he sits there, you can't make Lagia, you can't make Doka. Oh, you have your Magician Shark play? That's cool. The second that you trigger your Magician, I'm going to drop this guy in defense, and now you have this board of like a bunch of 15 and 400 attack monsters, and you can't do anything with them. He blocks Tour Guide plays. Oh, you have the Verz Caster, turn 1. That's cool. And when you drop your other Verz monster, I'm going to summon him in defense mode, and you're going to be salty. So I really like it there, but he also stops the normal. He also stops the slow Xyz summoning. You know, Macro Rabbit makes a very good living out of doing this, like Dino Rabbit did previously, to where, okay, your opponent summons the Sabersaurus, and then they monster born like a Kabuzaz, maybe that you Mirror Force or you Torrential. That's fine. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to summon my guy in defense mode, and your 2 dinos are going to be sitting there doing nothing. So you don't really have any plays. Another reason I really love Flying G is, unlike the other hand traps, he has a lasting effect. I mean, this isn't like Max C where your opponent's just like, oh no, I'm just going to stop special summoning and not let you get any more cards. You know, Flying G sits there on the field, basically saying, nope, you can't exceed, motherfucker. I'm being salty and I am a hater and you can't exceed as long as I'm here. So, you know, with most people not playing Book of Moon, I mean, they're pretty much left with either having the Torrential their own field or Dark Hole their own field, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You want to Torrential or Dark Hole yourself? Be my guest. I mean, you can evac it, but then it's like, okay, well, it goes back to my hand, so I can just use it later in the game. And, you know, as long as he's on the field, basically, if you're playing Macro Rabbit or Wind-Ups or the Verz, you're basically playing a vanilla beatdown because none of your monsters can, you know, turn themselves into those bigger Xyz monsters. You can't get your Lagia Doka, your, you know, Ophion. You can't get your lockdown cards on me. Do you really want to play beatdown against a deck like Heroes? Of course not. So, and then one of the last reasons why I really like this card is because unlike cards like Effect Veiler and Max C, this guy does not have to go to the graveyard to resolve his effect, and that is huge. It gets special summoned straight to the field. So that means that, you know, if you're playing against Macro Rabbit, you know, game 3, you don't have to second guess yourself where it's like, well, what if they draw Macro turn 1? You know, I won't be able to use any of my hand traps. Nope, you can still use this guy. If you're playing a deck like Mermill and you're playing against windups and you expect those D-Fissures to come in, you can still use this guy even under D-Fissure, and that's definitely big. So, you know, I like this card a lot. I look at decks like the Verz, Macro Rabbit, Windup. I mean, if you drop this on them to counteract some of their big plays, I mean, they're just not going to be able to have answers. I mean, these decks don't tribute summon very often. Outside of Gores, I don't think they run any tributes. You know, they don't synchro summon because these decks don't even run synchros in the extra deck. And it's just a card that's going to cause your opponent a lot of headaches. You know, Book of Moon sees minimal play. You know, a lot of people are going to have to resort to like Fiendish Chaining it or Dark Holding it or something like that. They're just overall bad plays, and I feel like this card just breaks up a lot of the broken plays that are very difficult to counter, especially if your opponent has things like D-Fissure or Macro on the field. So let me know what you think of this card. I think it's pretty good. I will talk to you later. Subscribing makes life happy.